Hey, thanks for joining us today for our Jesus People Conversation, daily conversations hosted by Antioch, Indy, to have conversations with people about what it looks like and what it means to walk with Jesus during this COVID-19 crisis. We hope you are equipped and encouraged by these conversations. Thanks for being with us. Hey everybody, welcome back to Jesus People Conversations. I have Nick Davis with us with the Hawaii hat on, loving it. Nick and I just met, but Nick's my new friend. Are we friends? Can we be friends?
Yeah.
Can we be quarantine friends?
Sure.
Perfect. Yeah. Nick is awesome, and we're excited to have him with us. So Nick, tell us a little bit about you, where you go to school, how old are you, and your favorite thing about yourself.
I am 15. I go to Heritage Christian.
Fellow Eagle, as we
Eagle,
talked.
Yes.
HCS graduate, kindergarten through graduation. So shout out Heritage Christian.
Yeah, Heritage Christian. So favorite thing about myself.
Yeah, what's your favorite thing about yourself?
Oh gosh,
so many things.
I like to think of myself as a country boy born in the city.
All right.
So
I like that.
I'm wearing a flannel.
Bro, flannel. Nothing gets
flannel,
more country
blue jean. But anyway,
you need to get some boots, man.
I have boots, but it's weird wearing them around because then people are like,
I know.
What are you doing?
Indiana people, but I lived in Texas for a while, so that's where I picked up my affinity for boots.
Yeah.
So it's all good, bro.
Yeah.
Don't let people...
I'll wear them if I'm ever on here again. I'll wear them.
Yes, wear them to church whenever this starts back up again. Boots church. We'll do a country western themed Sunday.
Okay,
and you'll lead the way. So you said you were telling me you play lacrosse.
Yeah, I do play lacrosse. Yeah.
Is that kind of your main gig?
Yeah, I don't really do much else. I do a lot of theater.
Nice.
I do set building and run crew, so like moving things during the shows and stuff.
Love it.
Yeah, it's weird because I'm like one of the lead set builders as a freshman, which is not normally what happens, but I'm like, I'll take it.
Hey, when you're a stud, you're a stud. Nobody else can do anything about that. It's okay. Don't be afraid of it. You just got to own it. I love that. So pretty handy.
I'd say so, yeah.
Well, apparently. Lead set designer as a freshman. Come on. And tell us about your family. Are you only child? One of 12?
Oh, that would be
something.
Lot. Yeah. I have two siblings, older siblings, older brother and older sister, and my mom and my dad, and then our dog. But yeah.
Ooh, nice. What kind of dog?
It's a Yorkie poo, yeah.
A Yorkie poo.
Yeah, Yorkie poodle.
Interesting. How big? Does that mean it's a bigger Yorkie or like a smaller one?
Like smaller.
Wow.
I want a big dog though. I want to get a husky.
Of course. What teenage guy doesn't want a husky? I mean, come on. So are you like big dog person, or are you kind of like, yeah, we have this dog?
This is dogs. I mean, dogs in general. A lot of people are like, you gotta have a big dog. I'm like,
yeah.
I like small dogs. I like big dogs. It's a dog.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm with you, bro. That's awesome. Well, I'm so excited for you to hang out with us today, and it's been fun getting to know you just for the last couple of minutes. As you mentioned, you're 15, so you're finishing up your freshman year in high school. So what's that been like? We've actually heard from some teachers, but what's it been like as a high school kid with all this COVID stuff happening?
It's a lot. It's crazy because you go from every single day having a set schedule where the bell rings and I'm going to this class and then this class and then this, and then now I'm like waking up at 10 and then getting breakfast, slowly finishing all my schoolwork in like 1 to 2 hours just because. And then it's just like it's a lot slower, but it's also a lot easier to get caught up and forget to do stuff.
Yeah, I always had that problem too, but it was more neglecting than forgetting. Yeah, just like, you know what? Okay, so you're doing your schoolwork in like an hour a day or so.
Yeah,
hour or two. Have you had the thought yet? What the heck am I doing, spending all this time at school? If I could do this in an hour or two a day.
I have.
Yeah,
many times, every single day.
Times.
Every single day, I think. Just like I spend 12 hours a day at school most days.
Yeah,
because I wake up, I have jazz band at 6 a.m. Was basically when I wake up at 6 a.m.
What do you play?
I play trumpet.
Nice.
Yeah. And so I have jazz band in the morning, which is before school. And then later on in the day I have, so then I go to theater most of the time after school in between lacrosse practice later. And so I'm at school from, like I get to school around 7 and I'm at school from 7 to 7.
Yeah.
So it's going every single day, all the time to absolutely nothing.
Absolutely nothing. So, man, have you been anticipating like, man, going back to school in the fall is really going to be a drag? Or are you like pumped? Has it been hard not being with your friends? Early summer
Um,
vacation,
it's kind of like it's hard because I have so many friends that are like seniors that like I just now get to play lacrosse with some of my
Yeah.
friends that I'm like, oh, I've been waiting for this year, and
Yeah.
then it ended early,
Yep.
only 2 games, like
Right.
it's like,
That's a bummer.
but I also know like my good friends, I'm gonna be able to talk to them again, and
Right.
most of them are actually juniors, so I get to see them
Yeah.
next year.
That's good.
But yeah,
Awesome.
so it's mostly like I actually get to see my friends,
Yeah.
and it's like everything's starting back up, but
Right.
it is also like gonna be weird going because I'm going straight from school to summer to okay, now we're back in school and we're
Right.
doing all of this, and it's like,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
cool.
Yep. Yeah. So with all the change going on as finish up your freshman year, all this kind of stuff, everything's changing. But what's it been like for you? Kind of like how have you been kind of anchoring yourself in God in all this transition, walking with Jesus? What have you been learning? What's been happening in you the last month or so?
Yeah. So let's see. So I guess everything kind of started with I got together with some of my friends from Hawaii actually that
Okay.
I met on the DTS Discipleship Training School with YWAM in Kona, Hawaii. I got together with some of my old friends from there that I haven't seen in forever, and we kind of just started talking, and it really just kind of it gives you that feeling of being surrounded by people who are all for God again.
Yeah.
Because when you're here, you're not always surrounded by that.
Yeah.
Hey, let's go pray for that person. Let's
Right.
it's not always like that. But when you're back with those people, that's all you did for 3 months is you went around and you prayed for people and you were all about God for 3 months straight.
Yeah.
And like that's what you know them as a spiritual person, not as whoever they want you to see them as. It's like it's weird, but then it's also like now I have the time where I can actually like figure out times to call them and not be so busy and all that stuff. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But that's one of the things that has really been like giving me hope, I guess, is that. And I've had a few people with small groups. I have about 2 small groups actually that I'm a part of. One of them is the Antioch Life group that I'm in, and the I have another one on Fridays with a few of my friends from school that we used to do with one of our old teachers from actually last year, 8th grade. But yeah, it's been a lot of being with other people, even though we're all separated.
Yeah, that's huge. I know that's been of course, it's one of the biggest challenges of all of this is being separated from friends and routines and the people that you just do so much life with. So that's really cool that you've been able to stay connected. And I know it sounded like you started that early, but as everything's going on, is that kind of getting harder as the weeks go on? Because I've felt this in different ways. I know lots of people have. It's like maybe right at the beginning, it's like, oh yeah, we're gonna get through this, and then it kind of drags on, and you're like, oh, I'm just gonna turn on TV and check out until whenever this stops.
Yeah, it's definitely difficult. I mean, like I'm giving myself things to do, and then I'm like, oh, I should have actually seen if people could talk, and like, oh, I have a small group that I just met, it's like, because it just feels like it's like Groundhog Day. Every day is going, the same thing happens every single day. And it's like, what day is it?
Nobody knows.
It's today.
I don't know what month it is. I don't know where we are.
Actually, one of my dad's friends, they were on a call, and he goes, I don't know what day it is or anything. It's just today.
Yes, I do know that.
Today is today.
Yes, absolutely. That's awesome. So you mentioned, and you were telling me a little bit before this, that you and your family did a discipleship training school with YWAM out in Kona a couple years ago, 2017 or something. You said. So just kind of the brief version, but like when did walking with Jesus really become like it's a me thing? It's not just something that happens around me and my family.
Yeah, so I'd say it was probably 2 months into the DTS.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah, so it was probably I would say it's 2 months, and sorry, bringing back memories.
Yeah,
but we were all running around. We would get these huge games of infection tag going on. We had like 50 people playing at the same time, and at the end of one of it, my good friend Matt, Ivan Matthias Fredriksen Ulafsrud, full name. He's from Norway, and he was born with scoliosis, and we had this teacher who was kind of like one of our guest speakers, I guess, in our classes. So we had his name was Jeffy Rothels. And he was a good friend of mine and a good friend of a lot of people. He just was all for God and really just living for God. And sadly, he passed away last year in February to malaria. He was in Africa doing missions, and yeah, he held on for a few months and stuff. Yeah. But yeah, anyway, back to the original story. Sorry, off topic. He came up to Matt in the middle of the game, and he was like, "Hey, I want to pray for you for your scoliosis." And there was about 3 of us maybe gathered around him, and we were all just kind of praying, and many people over that time had prayed for him, and nothing had happened. So we're all kind of like, kind of skeptical, But he stands up, and his shoulders are like, the other shoulder's actually even farther up than it, because it used to be like this, and now he's like that, and it's just like, it was crazy. And we realized it was because of his inserts in his shoes.
Oh, wow.
And he took him out and threw him, and he could actually run, because he could never run, and he always got bullied over all of it, and he could run. Wow. And he was out of breath within like 5 seconds of just dead sprinting, because his body had never done it.
Wow.
And anyway, there's all this emotional stuff that happened. I'd get into it some other time, maybe. Probably not, because it's a lot. But yeah, so that, I'd say that's where it kind of started.
Yeah, so that was a big turning moment for you.
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
Dang, this is no joke.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So in all of this change, you got this unique experience of being with your family in Kona in a super intense, spiritual discipleship environment. And then, to 12, 13, you move back, and now you're a freshman in high school, a couple years away from that. Life's crazy. Everything's changing. Yeah. What are you doing right now? What's it look like for you right now? How have you been kind of rooting yourself in God? You said the relationships, but even just some practical stuff that you've been doing.
My mom actually got our entire family reading a book called Emotionally Healthy Spirituality. I don't know if you've heard of it.
Heard of it, yep.
Yeah. So we're all reading that right now, and that's a really good thing. And once again, small groups, so just being with people who you can trust with everything has really been a big thing. And yeah, it's just, I'd say like that book has just, it really gives you a picture of like, you can't be emotionally immature and be spiritually mature is one of the things he says. Like they go hand in hand.
Right.
So like if your emotions are all out of whack, your spirituality is going to be all out of whack.
Yeah, right.
And so, and especially in this time where you feel like you're going to go crazy, you know, and so your emotions are going crazy. So what's your spirituality doing? Like what does that look like? And it kind of gets you questioning that. So I recommend that book to anybody who hasn't read it.
Nice.
Yeah. But yeah, it's been reading, and it's been hard to reading because I'm not much of a reader. But when I do that, and I've gotten outside a lot because I'm a very outdoor person. I went to a local like woods thing and climbed a tree and just sat there for like an hour.
Sometimes that's just what it takes.
And it was just like, I'm away from everything, away from people, and I'm just sitting there and like just being alone and in the presence of God. Not even like I wasn't even praying. I was just sitting there enjoying the outdoors, and it was just so just those two things.
That's great, man. I love that you're just talking about, I mean, you are choosing to be intentional with what you're doing with your time and what you're inputting into your own life. You're like, I'm going to choose the people that I'm getting around. I'm going to make that happen. And I'm going to intentionally read this book that's going to teach me and inform me and all that sort of thing. Because I know for me, and I know for so many of us, like I said earlier, it's like the easiest pull is to just be like, what can I do to completely check out and sort of even pretend that life's not even happening right now? Like wake me, I'm going to go into hibernation and just wake me up when this is over. But it's just so cool to hear you talking about the little things. Like none of that is like radical craziness. It's like, I'm reading a book. I'm getting the space when I need it. And I'm making sure that I'm calling the friends that like build me up and invest in me. And it's just amazing how far those little things go. They matter so much. That's really cool. I love that, man. Well, as we kind of wrap up, would you mind praying for us and kind of anybody who's watching right now, just that we would be able to meet with God in this time, and that we wouldn't just check out, you know.
Yeah,
But maybe we can even hear God in this moment of like one little next step we can take to capitalize on this time. I don't know, just anything simple, whatever you want.
All right, dear God, I just pray over all of this and anybody listening and people who aren't even, that you will just give us encouragement and give us the like emotional strength to get through this, because it's hard being away from humanity. And I know all the things that I've even talked about now, like that I don't do them perfectly, and nobody will ever do anything perfectly. And I feel like a lot of times we hear people talking, we're like, oh, they have it perfect. And it's like, no, we don't. I mean, like I can't even imagine how many times I've forgotten things. But Lord, I just pray that you give everybody hope, because in a time like this, hope is what we need. So I pray for hope, and I pray for just love, and for them to be able to connect with people they don't have the time to in their day-to-day life. And now you're giving them that time, Lord. And I just pray for strength and courage for all of this, and for the people struggling with friends and family who actually do have COVID and all this stuff. And it's a difficult thing. And we always say we want everything to just go away. Well, now everything is going away and everybody's trying to get back to their regular lives. Lord, just show them that you have a divine, I don't even have the words, but like a divine direction for our lives. And the reason we can't choose what we want to do is because we'd probably mess it up real quick. So, I just pray for courage and emotional strength and stability. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Awesome, man. Thank you so much for being with us. Ladies and gentlemen, Nick Davis, thanks for being with us, and thanks for watching tonight. We will see you next time. Thanks for joining us on today's Jesus People Conversation. If you haven't checked out the Spending Time with Jesus podcast, we would encourage you to go find that on iTunes or Spotify. It's just called Spending Time with Jesus. It will help you connect with him in the morning, and then visit us for these Jesus People Conversations in the evening as we all grow together in personal devotion to Jesus. Thanks for being with us. We'll see you next time.